talk about you as a scientist and your view of journalism for a moment.
You really want to go there?
Yeah. Exactly why you're here, yes.
Okay, so I cannot speak intelligently about journalism in general, but I can definitely speak about science journalism. If you're profiling someone in an article, it's journalistic ethos that do not show the person in the article. Yet, you also want to make sure you don't get anything wrong. But apparently not showing them the article is a greater ethos than not getting anything wrong. Because 100% of the time I'm journalistically profiled, something is wrong that they don't know is wrong, or they could have been corrected instantly. Or they thought something else might need to be checked. And that's what they sent to me, but not anything else. And I'm thinking, what do you care if I read what you wrote? Why do you care? And suppose I do complain. So what? Just print it anyway. Who cares?
You're going to anyway.
It doesn't matter, right? So what the hell are you all afraid of? Just if you care about what's accurate, people, it's weird. A journalist comes into my office, sets down the tape recorder, says, do you mind if I record you? You know what my answer is 100% of the time? I said, do whatever is required for you to make an accurate story of this conversation, okay? If you have to record it for it to be accurate, then do it. Do it, okay? I know about the fallibility of eyewitness testimony and all this, and scribbles on the flip thing, that they're to record the thing, all right? Then maybe something will come out right. And then it's more than that. You started this. Didn't I say that? Then there's fact checking, and then there's impression checking. I don't know journalists who impression check. What's an impression check? You write a sentence that is factually accurate, but 9 out of 10 readers will think something other than what you intended by that fact.
Like you're an atheist when you're not.
For example, I have a better example than that. You ready? There was a profile of me in the New Yorker. Okay? And it was in their big issue, their like Knickerbocker issue, you know, with the dude, you know, that's the one issue a year, and it's a double long issue. It stays on the shelves for twice as long, all right? So the reporter had shadowed me for months, and in the last day decided to ask a question. They said, so, did you grow up in a religious household? And I said, well, our family was Catholic. You know, we kind of sort of went to church. And then that ended pretty much like late elementary school. And it wasn't really, my mother was a little more than the rest of us, but it was not a factor in it was not an explicit factor in anything that went on in the household. At no time did someone say, well, what would Jesus do? Or God will not look high. That never happened, okay? So, in the article, it comes out, it says, Tyson had a devoutly religious childhood, okay? Because I said my mother was more religious than the rest. And so what's your impression if you read that? You will have the wrong impression. So the fact that I went to church every weekend until I was 7, to a reporter sounds like it's devout, when that is...
Well, that's how heathen he was, I guess.
It was a she. Yes.
Sorry. Got me. I just presumed a man screwed it up.
That's kind of okay getting out of that one. Yeah. You dug halfway out of that hole. So I'm concerned about impression checking. And there were more examples of this. For example, someone wrote a blog based on that article, and the title of the blog was 10 Things I Bet You Never Knew Were True About Neil Tyson. And he based all 10 things on that article. And the reason why you never thought they were true, because they're not true. Right, okay, so that's another. Now, another point, no, we don't even have to talk about that. I just put that under the bridge. Here's what I want to talk about. There's a journalistic urge among science journalists to hang out in the coffee lounges of I'm stereotyping this, but the sense is correct. Hang out in the coffee lounges of science departments, or in the science workshops where people are reporting the latest results, or you hang out at the editorial offices of Nature magazine or Science magazine, and a research paper gets published that conflicts with previous work or comes out with some new idea. The journalist reports that as truth. That is not a scientific truth. One research paper, refereed and published, does not make a scientific truth. We have systems in place that establish scientific truths, and it is not ever a single paper. Somebody else has to verify that. Somebody else has to check it. Somebody else has to do a different kind of experiment looking for the same phenomenon, a different way so that they don't duplicate what might be the error in your designed experiment. Once this happens, then you have an emergent truth. And so, people don't actually, because of this, people don't actually understand how and why science works, which I think is why you have people throwing snowballs in Congress, all right, on the floor of the House of Representatives, and you have people hearing, oh, cholesterol's good for you this week, it's bad for you next week, it's going to be good for you in a month, thinking that scientists have their head up their ass. Okay. When in fact...
It's the journalists who do.
Well, no. So it's how you report.
Okay, but this is where I want to go. Apply...
The reason why the results change each week, because it hasn't settled out yet. So don't report it as true.
So apply, this is where I really want to go.
Sorry, I'm screaming. Sorry.
This is what we want. This is what we want.
He started that. I was calm before that began. Go.